Hello and welcome to the final part of this 5-episode series, in which we go over every single Final Smash's origin in the Super Smash Bros. Franchise, which includes the Final Smashes that were in Brawl and Smash 4, but got either removed or replaced in Ultimate by something else. Which isn't actually going to be very relevant to this video specifically, because last time I went over the final character to have 2 Final Smashes, namely Cloud. We ended last video with Simon and Richter, meaning that today we only have newcomers in Smash Ultimate to go over. And if you've watched the previous 4 parts, which you should have, you know that I've said countless times that the Final Smashes got way better in Ultimate, especially with the DLC characters, which we also get to cover in this video. Because some characters have had their Final Smashes changed, and I've gone over all of them, we've already covered 99 different Final Smashes, which means the first one of today's video will be number 100. Or not, it actually depends on a few things, like if you count identical Final Smashes between different characters as separate Final Smashes or not, for example. Point is, we've covered a lot of them already. The only thing I should really tell you before we start today is that I've also been giving my opinions on some of the Final Smashes just for fun. Now before we actually get started here, yeah, you know what's coming, I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. That's right, they're back. Now I know that you know about this highly acclaimed mobile and PC game, but did you also know that recently they added the biggest baddest new clan boss yet, the Hydra, a terrifying beast with 6 heads that all have unique abilities and mechanics, such as the Head of Torment, which can force your heroes to skip a turn, or the Head of Decay, which both weakens your party while buffing its own. However, if taking it on all by yourself isn't your style, you could always join a clan and do it together with other players, or just hop into the campaign and get some EXP the old-fashioned way. Personally, I prefer taking on bosses in the dungeons to power up my heroes, which can actually provide a nice challenge, as you can tell here by how I barely didn't beat this guy. Yeah. There's never been a better time to get into Raid, especially since they currently got a lot of New Year's events going on, such as tournaments and new special heroes, like the very limited edition free champion based on esports legend Simple, for free until January 28th. All you have to do to get him is log on for 7 days between now and the 28th. So you better get on that quick, and if you do, you can use my special link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get a cool hero, Verges, an energy refill, an EXP boost, 200,000 silver, and an ancient shard, so you can summon an at least pretty cool champion for free right from the get-go. You'll find all these rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only, and while you're at it, you can even look me up in the game if you want, of course. Have fun. Okay, but now let's just get back to the Final Smashes and bring this series to a close. Since we ended last video with the Belmont boys, this time we get to start with King K. Rool, who has an incredible Final Smash, the Blast-O-Matic, where if the initial hit lands, he sits down on a chair, laughs maniacally, and shoots a giant laser at an island shaped like Donkey Kong's head to blow it up. Okay, dude. In Donkey Kong 64, in which K. Rool is the main antagonist, Donkey Kong and his friends live on Donkey Kong Island, shaped like his head. And K. Rool suddenly drives an island shaped somewhat like him up to DK Isle, and just kinda sits there with it. What he's actually doing is preparing to shoot it with a laser, which you almost get to see in the game's game over screen, and this whole cutscene is what the Final Smash is based on. We see him laugh while sitting on a throne of some kind, and then point the laser straight at DK Isle. It fades to black before you actually see him shoot it, but I'm sure you can imagine what happens next. You actually do see whoever you hit with the Final Smash briefly stand atop Donkey Kong Island before he shoots it down, so I guess the initial hit somehow launched you all the way over there. This is one of my personal favorite Final Smashes in the game, because the idea for it is perfect. He's the main villain in the older Donkey Kong games, and his ultimate attack in Smash is based on one of the DK games' game over screens. That's just such a good idea if you ask me. And now we go from an amazing Final Smash to a bad one, in my opinion. Isabelle's Final Smash is Dream Town Hall. Functionally, it is completely identical to Villager's Final Smash, Dream Home, except it does a tiny bit more damage. Instead of building a house, Tom, Timmy, and Tommy Nook build a town hall instead. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, which is the game Isabelle is from, she can be found chilling in the town hall building. And that's it. That's the origin. Isabelle can be found in the building she attacks you with in the Final Smash. I'm not a fan of this Final Smash because it's just lazy and doesn't make sense. You don't build Town Hall in any Animal Crossing game. You also don't get to decorate it, and none of the items you see the Nooks throw into it can be found in it. This is where you go to in Animal Crossing New Leaf if you want to start work on a public works project, which are basically structures in your town that you fund and then takes a day to get built afterwards. You talk to Isabelle for this, and she's in charge of the whole project, so why not have her Final Smash revolve around them? Oh right, it's because she's basically a villager Echo Fighter, except with a few different moves, and they didn't feel like making a unique Final Smash for her. Alright, let's move on to a brighter note, literally. Incineroar's Final Smash is Max Malicious Moonsault, where they throw you against some ropes in a boxing ring, uppercuts you in the air on the bounce back, and performs a small aerial combo on you before headbutting you down to the ground in a huge fiery explosion. This one has a rather simple origin, but they still did something interesting with it. In the 7th generation of Pokemon, Sun and Moon, the games Incineroar is from, they introduced Z moves, basically very powerful attacks that you can use once per battle and require your Pokemon to hold a special stone item, and there's one for each type of Pokemon. So there's a stone for fire, water, grass, ice, ghost, dragon, you name it. On top of that, some Pokemon had unique Z moves that only they could use, and Incineroar, being one of the 3 starters of that game, naturally had one of these unique ones as well. If you give an Incineroar the Insinium Sea Stone and they know their signature move, Darkest Lariat, they were able to perform Malicious Moonsault, where they spawn a boxing ring under you, jump from atop the ropes, and crashes onto you in a big fiery explosion. Yeah, he doesn't throw you against the ropes or does the aerial combo or the headbutt spike in the air like in the Final Smash. You may have also noticed that it has a slightly different name in Pokemon, missing the Max in front of it. That's because the Final Smash is basically just a souped up version of Incineroar's signature Z move, which I find to be a pretty nice and creative touch, instead of just making it straight up the same move. Also, right before Incineroar performs the Final Smash, you can briefly see the icon for the Insinium Sea Stone flash on their belt, in case you were wondering what that was. Pretty cool Final Smash all things considered, and I like that they took an idea and just kinda went a little bit further with it. Our first and greatest DLC character, Piranha Plant, is the last character to not have a cutscene Final Smash. Yeah, they gave every DLC character following Piranha Plant a cutscene Final Smash, which is kinda lame in my opinion, but whatever. Piranha Plant's Final Smash is PD Piranha, where it summons the ruler of all Piranha Plants, PD Piranha, to jump around with some cages in his hands to try and capture some opponents, who he then spits fire on, slam onto the ground, and then he flies away. PD Piranha's first appearance is in Super Mario Sunshine, in which he is the main boss of the Bianco Hills area, where you fight him twice, and since then he's appeared in a lot of Mario's spin-off games. Actually, he's pretty much exclusively used in spin-offs. The only 2 mainline Super Mario games he appears in are Super Mario Sunshine and New Super Mario Bros., in which he is also a boss fight. He spits fire in Smash Ultimate, which is weird because he's never done so in any Mario game. In fact, he's often weak to fire since, you know, he's a plant. So that's PD Piranha's origin, which is all well and good, but obviously I have to mention that the way this Final Smash works is a really hard callback to his boss fight in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He is the first boss fight in the game's story mode, the Subspace Emissary. This is also where the 2 cages come from, and here it's also his primary form of attacking. He captures Peach and Zelda in the 2 cages, so that's where the idea of him capturing fighters in them came from, since he also does that in this Final Smash. I love it when Smash Bros. References its own history like this, so this Final Smash gets a big plus from me. So like I said, from here on out every Final Smash is a cutscene Final Smash, which doesn't mean they're bad. A shining example is Joker's Final Smash, All Out Attack. He dashes forwards and when he hits someone, everything on screen turns red except the fighters. Then Joker and a bunch of other people jump up and quickly strike the opponent in tandem, until Joker appears in front of the camera and strikes a pose with everyone he hit behind him in the background. This is without a doubt the Final Smash with the single most direct origin of them all. By that I mean that it looks almost completely identical to the thing it is based on. In Persona 5, once you've knocked down every enemy in a fight through any means possible, you can choose to perform an all-out attack with your party, which is basically literally what you see in Smash Bros. Like, actually the same thing. The only real difference here is that the enemies in the background spew high-pressured blood out of them. This was changed to sparkles in Smash Bros., obviously to avoid age rating issues. What's cool in Persona 5 is that the 4 characters you see in this shot change depending on who's currently in your party, and whoever initiated the all-out attack is who you see in the splash screen at the end, and every character has their own one, which is cool. In Smash, there's 2 different versions of the animation, one with Joker, Ryuji, Ann, and Morgana, and another with Joker, Yusuke, Makoto, and Haru. The splash screen at the end is always Joker's though, which is a little bit of a shame, but then again I guess he was the one to initiate the all-out attack in Smash. Furthermore, whenever you use it, you get a quick comment from either Morgana or Futaba. These are the 2 main Navigator party members in Persona 5, which means they basically commentate each battle. Morgana is also an actual party member that can fight, whereas Futaba is solely a navigator, which is why she's never in the actual all-out attack animation. And lastly, you probably already know this, but there's an Easter egg in Smash where if you finish a fight with Joker's Final Smash, the battle just ends there and the results of the game are shown over that ending splash screen. This is also straight out of Persona 5. In that game, if you finish a fight with an all-out attack, the battle ends there as well, as it shows you the money and EXP and such you got from the fight. So yeah, that's one of the coolest Final Smashes ever, but let's not dwell on it too long and just move on. Hero's final smash is Giga Slash, where his sword gets all lightning-y and he slashes upwards with a big swing. If it hits anybody, a cutscene plays out where a bunch of people put their weapons together to seemingly power up Hero's sword for one last big slash. Giga Slash is a reoccurring magic attack that debuted in Dragon Quest VI, where it was just a very powerful late game magic attack as expected. The Luminary, aka Default Hero, can also learn Giga Slash in his game, Dragon Quest XI, and there the sword he uses looks to be made of blue lightning, just like how it looks in Smash during the cinematic. The bunch of people I mentioned earlier are actually all the prior protagonists of the Dragon Quest games. From left to right, they are from Dragon Quest V, 10, 7, 1, 6, 9, and 2. If you also take into account the 4 playable protagonists, which are from Dragon Quest 3, 4, 8, and 11, they're actually all represented in Smash because of this Final Smash. Except the one from 12, of course, because that one's not out yet. Anyways, this whole part with all the other protagonists showing up is completely made up. It's really cool though, so I'm not complaining. Banjo and Kazooie's final smash is the mighty Jinjonator, where some kind of statue comes up, then comes alive, then flies into the enemy a bunch until it sends them flying. The origin of this final smash is really simple. There are 5 Jinjos to collect in each level of Banjo Kazooie, and at the tail end of the final fight against Gruntilda, this huge statue of Jinjo shows up and tells you to activate it. After doing so by shooting a bunch of eggs into its holes, it comes to life, the 4 Jinjos that helped you in the fight fly into it, and then it repeatedly bashes into Gruntilda to destroy her impenetrable shield, and once it's done that, it charges up for one last big bash into her, knocking her off the tower and defeating her for good. Until she comes back in the second game. The Jinjonator in Smash also rams into the opponent a bunch, but much faster, and with the other Jinjos surrounding it, which looks a lot nicer in my opinion. And now on to Terry's final smash, which starts with him creating 3 flame pillars, then using Power Dunk, and then his signature Buster Wolf attack. The only real interesting thing to note here is the first thing he does, which is Triple Geyser, basically that one super special move he has, except 3 times in a row, and each time the geyser appears a little further away. This move originates from the 1995 Fatal Fury 3, originally for the arcades, where it was one of his desperation moves. The other 2 attacks he does in this cinematic are just Power Dunk and Buster Wolf, which he's had forever and are the same as his down special and one of his 2 super specials respectively. And now we move on to one of my least favorite final smashes in the game, Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven, which is the longest name of any final smash in the game with 30 characters including spaces. Technically Ryu and Ken have a longer final smash name with 31 characters, but that's 2 final smashes. Anyways, this is Byleth's final smash, and it has him swing his whip sword and then Sothis appears in the background to tell Byleth they're connected or something, and Byleth then does the same thing again. Just like with Incineroar's final smash, this is an upgraded version of an attack they have in their home game. In Fire Emblem Three Houses, Byleth can perform the sword combat art Ruptured Heaven if he uses his trademark sword, the Sword of the Creator. This attack does a little bit more damage if used against dragon enemies, and during it, Byleth swings the sword around a bit in whip form, granting the attack more range than sword attacks usually have. Sothis, the character that shows up in the background, is a pretty important character in Fire Emblem Three Houses. I won't spoil too much, but she is a god that basically lives inside Byleth's head for story reasons, and is tied to the Sword of the Creator, again for story reasons. At some point decently early in the game, something happens between Byleth and Sothis, which causes Byleth's hair to change to a way lighter shade of green. You know those alts that are just Byleth but with this different hair color? Yeah, that's a reference to that. You may have also noticed that even if you pick the regular alt, his hair will always be this shade of green in the cutscene. It doesn't really make sense at all for his hair to change during the attack and then change back afterwards, but I guess it's a nice reference. Now that aside, I don't like this final smash at all, mostly because of how ugly it is. Like, the sprite of Sothis in the background doesn't look good, this shot looks terrible and unfinished, The attack Byleth does is just boring and uninteresting, and finally I hate the character of Sothis. Yes, I've played 3 houses. Min Min's final smash is Arms Rush, where she gets a whole posse together to beat you up with their extendable arms, and then finally at the end, Min Min shoots you with a huge laser from her dragon arm into a gong. In Arms, the fighting game she's from, there's a mechanic called Rush, where you could build up a meter, and when it's full, you could rush your opponent with a big flurry of punches with your currently equipped arms. This is pretty much just what the final smash is based on, but they spiced it up a bit to include a bunch of other fighters from Arms, namely Springman, Ribbon Girl, Twintel, Mechanica, Master Mummy, and Ninjara. How all their arms don't get tangled up, I have no idea. The gong that appears at the end is based on the one that's featured in Min Min's stage in Arms, Ramen Bowl. It doesn't do anything gameplay wise, so it's just a neat callback to her home stage, which is at the ramen store she owns. One funny thing I quickly wanted to mention is that in the Dutch version of Smash Ultimate, this move is called Armageddon, spelled with arm in all caps. I just thought that was funny. Steve's very creative final smash is House of Boom, where he places down a huge pushing block of some sorts, which then launches you into said House of Boom that's filled with TNT blocks and monsters, and then the whole thing explodes with you inside it. Alright, there's a lot to unpack here, so strap in. First of all, the pushing block he places down is a piston, which has the ability to push blocks when powered by something like a redstone trail, which is basically just electricity in Minecraft. There isn't a big variant or anything like it in Minecraft, so the huge one he places down in Smash is just made for Smash Bros, and the actual House of Boom you get launched into is also made up, though obviously you would be able to recreate it in Minecraft if you really wanted to. I actually found a video online of someone recreating it pretty dang well in Minecraft, so check it out if you're interested. I'll link it in the description of this video. Like I said, this isn't a naturally generating building in Minecraft, though there are plenty of structures in the game that look like it. Personally, I always thought it might have been based on jungle pyramids, which just like House of Boom are filled with traps. The monsters that appear in House of Boom are zombies and the very iconic creepers, which explode, and it's likely what set off all the TNT in the room. And at the end, Steve can be seen eating some food, specifically a steak, as a rude gesture or something. Finally, the explosion texture seen in the cutscene looks like the one from Minecraft Bedrock Edition, suggesting that this was recorded in that version. Minecraft is all about building stuff and using your own creativity, so I love that the Smash team did just that for this Final Smash. Alright, so now I'm gonna talk about Sephiroth's awesome Final Smash, but it spoils something really cool about the final battle in Final Fantasy VII, so I'm gonna give a spoiler warning here first. Originally, I wasn't even planning on doing this since most people already know about it since the game is 25 years old, but then I remembered the remake might have that same thing in it eventually, so I asked Twitter if I should give a disclaimer here, and yes, just barely won out. So fine. I mean, to be fair, I guess I can never really be too careful, right? Anyway, skip to the timestamp shown on screen to go to the next character if you want. There's your warning, 3, 2, 1. Sephiroth's final smash is Supernova, where he swings his huge katana once, and if it hits you, he takes on this godly form with a ton of wings, and then makes a meteor destroy a bunch of planets that cause a supernova, that then makes Earth disintegrate. Damn. This is based on the true final boss of that game, which is Sephiroth's final form, known as Safer Sephiroth. The camera angle that appears in this shot is a straight reference to the same angle used in that fight, which you can really tell if you land this final smash on 3 characters specifically. And the actual move of Supernova is one of the attacks Sephiroth can use in this fight. The one you see in Smash specifically is based on the animation for it in the international release of Final Fantasy VII. I would love to show you the full attack in this video, but that would take up too much time because the full animation is 2 minutes. That's right, it takes around 120 seconds for this move to finish playing, and as you can imagine, it's very strong to say the least. I'm glad that they made it infinitely shorter in Smash, but you know how if you win a match with Joker's Final Smash, the splash screen at the end turns into the victory screen? I always thought it would have been hilarious if when you win with Sephiroth's Final Smash, the same thing would sort of happen, where a remake of the full Supernova animation would play, but then game appears at the start and the result screen just shows up on top of it. The example I used here is from a fan remake I found online, which I have of course linked in the description. It's very well made, go check it out. And at the end of this very long animation, it could just transition into his normal victory screen with the fire and stuff. And one last thing, his final smash always inflicts a random status on anyone it hits, and that's just a reference to Safer Sephiroth's Pill Horse attack, which is able to inflict you with a lot of different statuses in his fight, like here where it turns Tifa into a frog. Yeah. Anyways, moving on from one JRPG anime sword character to two JRPG anime sword characters. Pyra and Mythra are swap characters like Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, but unlike them, they actually each get their own final smash. Pyra's final smash is the very uncreatively named Burning Sword, where Rex shows up to swing her blade, and then the two hold the sword together, jump up for no real reason at all, and then make a huge flame pillar appear. This is just simply based on Pyra's level 4 blade special with the same name, which also has pretty much the same animation. It also shows up in a few cutscenes, so you could say it's basically her signature move. And Mythra's final smash is Sacred Arrow, where they do the same thing at the start with both of them wielding the sword, but instead of jumping up, they point the sword to the sky and make a bunch of light beams shoot down from above. This is similarly just based on Mythra's level 4 blade special, also with the same name and pretty much the same animation. Sound familiar? Yeah, Pyra and Mythra are known as Blades in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and a Blade's ultimate attack is usually their level 4 special in battle, which are only available once you've reached maximum affinity in battle with said blade. Rex is the quote-unquote driver of Pyra and Mythra, meaning only he can wield their blades and bond with them. And level 4 specials are always performed by both the blade and the driver, just as you see in Smash. Kazuya Mishima's final smash is Final Blaster, where he shoots a laser from his middle third eye, transforms into a very demonic looking demon, and then shoots a bunch of lasers from his wings and chest. This attack is based on Tekken 7, where in the final fight of Kazuya's story mode, he faces his father Heihachi in the stage Brimstone and Fire, which is at an active volcano. Kazuya has the Devil Gene, which he inherited from his mother, Kasumi Mishima, and in this final boss fight, he gets particularly annoyed at his father and fully transforms into this demonic form for the first time. And during this phase of the fight, Final Blaster becomes his rage art, and he also does it in a cutscene a bit later in the fight, which is what the cutscene for the final Smash is based on. You can even see the stage Brimstone and Fire in the background in Smash during it. And now we're finally at the last character, Sora. During production of the first part of this series, I didn't even know I would have to talk about him eventually, which is pretty wild now that we're actually here. Anyways, his final smash is Sealing the Keyhole, where he throws you into a keyhole, which then closes a big door on you with the Smash logo on it, and then Sora points at said door with his Keyblade and turns it to lock the door, and then it explodes. In the Kingdom Hearts games, Sora often has to seal things called keyholes with his Keyblade, which each world has in them, in order to prevent the Heartless from wreaking havoc in said worlds. In the original game, this evil guy gets sucked into, or destroyed by, the Door to Darkness, and then Sora, Goofy, and Donald Duck try their best to close the door by pushing it, while another character, Riku, pulls from the other side, as Mickey Mouse just kinda stands there. After a bit of a struggle, they succeed in closing it, and then Sora and Mickey both lock the door from each side with their respective Keyblades, which then just makes it disappear. The final smash is believed to be based on this scene specifically, even though the door is way smaller, looks nothing like the Door to Darkness, Donald, Goofy, Riku, and Mickey aren't present, and the door doesn't explode. I know basically nothing about Kingdom Hearts, and it's an incredibly confusing series to say the least, so I hope to God I didn't get anything wrong, and if I did, I'm sorry. I've heard some Kingdom Hearts fans say that even though they're very happy with Sora's inclusion in Smash, they're also disappointed by Sora's final Smash, since it seems to be mostly made up, which is a huge shame considering he's the final character, and all other DLC characters had such interesting final Smashes. For the most part. But oh well, that's finally the end of it. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of final Smashes. Around 117 actually, give or take. It's really impressive they've been able to make so many over the years, though some of them are clearly made with a lot more love than others, even in Ultimate. Since this is the ending of the final part, I quickly want to thank SmashWiki.com. Even though I run an information-based YouTube channel, I usually try my best not to resort to the site in any of my videos, but I'm of course not familiar with every single franchise in Smash's playable roster, so for some of them I got pretty much all my info from the pages of the characters' final smashes on that website. Not all of them by any means, but for a lot of them I did at least fact check what I said on those pages. So my thanks goes out to whoever wrote those. You all really saved my bacon. I hope you guys enjoyed this series of mine. It was a way bigger undertaking than I imagined, evident by the fact that I ended up doing it in 5 parts instead of the 4 I said it would be in parts 1 and 2. But I'm glad that Smash is done getting characters now, so that I can finally focus on videos that's about every character, without the fear of patches or new characters making them outdated, which has happened plenty of times in the past. Please let me know what your favorite Final Smash in the game is, or if I got any stuff wrong. In the future I might make a supercut of this series where I also correct the mistakes I've made. I'd say my favorite Final Smash is probably Joker's. It's just so flashy and accurate to Persona 5, and it has bonus points for being able to continue into the victory screen too. My least favorite Final Smash is definitely Shulk's. It was great in Smash 4, but they really ruined it in Smash Ultimate in my opinion. Also, while making this series, I posted a tweet asking if either Sonic or Jigglypuff has the worst Final Smash in the game. Jigglypuff just barely won, but at the time I actually thought Sonic's was worse. However, after that tweet and during development of part 3 of these videos, I learned that Bowser Jr. probably has the worst Final Smash in the game. I mean, when capturing footage for that video, I was barely able to do any damage at all even though I tried twice, which I didn't have to do for anyone else. Anyways, rambling aside, thank you so much for watching, and an extra thanks if you watched the whole series. I put a lot of time into it after all. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm happy to spoil it, but I'm of course planning to make more content that's about every character now that they're all out. You can click here to check out the whole series if you only watched this part, or click here to watch some other stuff from me, which I'd also really appreciate. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and please have a great day.